You know what this means? I got suitcases packed again. I'm out on the road again. On the road with my mom. Hello. Say hello to the vlog.
Hello.
We're going to Nakusp. It'll be about a solid 7 or 8 hour drive. And then we'll be there for a couple days just for a family thing before I head down to my gig in Nelson. But we should really hit the road. Yay. Our fun road trip has been interrupted by a 45-minute traffic jam. This is what happens when you do construction at 12:20 p.m. Oh well, this is fine. I wonder if this is a rock slide that happened all at once, or if it's just too steep of a slope for trees to grow on. I have no idea. If you know, let me know in the comments, but I've always thought this is pretty cool. Can't see nearly all of it with this cloud cover today though. It's pretty majestic. We've reached Merritt. We've probably been driving for 3 hours, and we're probably a solid quarter of the way there. Hey, traffic jams will do that. Now that we're on the east side of Merritt, the landscape completely changes. I've driven through many of the US states, and this part feels like Oregon to me, which is weird, because we are very much in BC. Alright, we've reached Kamloops. It is a good solid 15 degrees hotter here. It is very warm out here in the interior. I'm not even sure we're halfway there. A lot of driving still left. So now we're through Kamloops, on the east side of that, heading towards Salmon Arm now, and as you can tell, once you get past Kamloops, it becomes densely forest again. It's out of the desert. BC is very strange, so many little ecosystems to drive through. Made it to Salmon Arm, where I just was on tour. Also been, so yeah, Kamloops and Salmon Arm. I feel like I was just here, both of these places. But this time we're moving on through, taking this highway over to Revelstoke and then cutting down to Nakusp. But we're now into the second half of the drive, which is nice. Oh, still got some snow caps here in mid-July. It's good to see. Not all been wiped out by global warming, apparently. I actually totally forgot that this was along our route here in, I believe, the town of Craigellachie. I don't know how to pronounce that. We're at the last spike of the Canadian Pacific Railway. It was right here in 1885 that they drove the last spike that connected Canada from coast to coast. In my recent video about the history of my hometown of Maple Ridge, BC, I was talking about how the main reason that town came to be was because of this railroad. By the time this last spike had been driven, they'd already spent years and years working on the railway. I actually had completely forgotten that this was right along the Trans-Canada Highway. This is the famous picture I've always seen of it, taken right here 134 years ago, if my math is correct. According to this plaque, it took 9 years to build it from coast to coast, which is actually a little bit shorter than I thought. I thought it was like a 20-year project. It was a project absolutely vital to the connection of this country. Finished right here. And the Canadian Pacific Railway, very much active to this day. Still traveling over the rail line that was constructed 134 years ago. Traveling goods and services, and still the occasional passenger train across this country. And the road that we're driving on is the Trans-Canada Highway, which in many places follows a very similar route to the Canadian Pacific Railway and has the distinction of connecting the country even closer. I believe it It was finished in the 50s or 60s. I'm not sure the exact year, but equally enormous of an undertaking as building the railway, I think. And now we're almost in Revelstoke, or between Sycamoose and Revelstoke, and it's perhaps even more foresty than it is back home. You see, it's crazy that way. I remember this from when I was a little kid. We're coming up on the Enchanted Forest. I was very young when I went here. How old do you think I was?
Oh, 6 or 8.
Yeah, but not 7. It was 6 or 8. Yeah, you can just see the spires coming up there. Got an absolutely terrible shot of it. Enchanted Forest. Huh. Sure love to stay in there one day. I feel like I've definitely seen pictures of this one. How beautiful is that? Three Valley Gap, it says. There's another heavily photographed spot. Smoky Bear Campground. Only you can prevent forest fires. This is how close we came to making the ferry. We have pulled up in the last 5 seconds, and it has left. So I did not need to stop at the last spike. But that's fine. The next ferry's in an hour. I'll just wait. Oh well, at least it's a scenic little location to wait for an hour. Yay. That's cool. I guess trucks can stop here and load their freight stuff onto there, and then it gets loaded right onto the ferry. Neat. To be honest, I didn't even know there was going to be a ferry on this route until like a half hour ago when I looked it up and we started seeing signs for a ferry. I was like, oh, okay, that's fine. So that's why we timed it so poorly. But I'm really shocked that this ferry runs from 5 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. Do they really get traffic coming across this little crossing about 50 kilometers north of Nakusp at 12:30 a.m.? I have no idea. They must. Look at this, Kathleen's condo. Is it a little food stop? I have no idea. We're just going to cross the Upper Arrow Lake here from Shelter Bay to Galena Bay and finish our drive down in Nakusp there. We are almost there. We're only about a 50-kilometer drive away. This will be the only ferry of this little tour, unlike the 10 ferries of my last little tour. Anyway, so going to stay in Nakusp for a few days, and then we're going to do another drive over to Nelson here, which is where my show is on Monday night. And then Tuesday, we do the long drive back from Nelson, back home. Just a little 5-day trip here. It's a pretty beautiful little cove though here. This part of the trip is officially now in places that I've never been before. I have never been here before. For some reason I expected it to be a little more deserty than this. This is nice. I'm not sure what this ferry's called, but we are boarding. Finally, an hour later. And we are moving. BC Ferries only operates the ocean routes, so the river and lake routes are just operated by the transportation board. So they fall outside my area of expertise when it comes to ferries. For those of you who don't know, I have this weird knowledge of the history of various BC Ferries vessels, but not this one. In fact, as I said, I didn't even know it was here. Alright, so I figured it out. It's called the Columbia. I found out because I was like looking out at the water and I saw that on the outside of the boat I could see the name of it, Columbia. I'm not going to film it because I don't want to drop my phone into the lake, but when we get to Nakusp, I'll have to look up how long this boat has been in service. I always like to know that. Pretty quintessential BC view here. Lakes, hills, and snow caps as well, just for good measure. Wonder if the pine beetle did this. Fairly deforested now over there. Looks like all the trees have been slowly dying. Just pulling into the dock now. We have made it to the other side. Next stop, Nakusp. And I have arrived here in the quaint little town of Nakusp. It's actually a really cute little town. I'm excited to explore it over the next couple of days, bring you guys with me for sure. I've already seen a lot of old historic buildings. Even the building that I'm staying in is an old opera house, or at least it once was the building that once stood here. Cool. Yeah, it's a bicycle museum now on the ground floor. We'll have to check that out in the next couple days. So yeah, long day of traveling, back on the road, which is a big chunk of my life now, just being on the road constantly. But really excited to be here. I mean, like I said, we're going to have some awesome adventures in here in the next couple days. Thanks for watching today's video on my long, turned into about a 9-hour trip to get here with the traffic jam and waiting for the ferry. And I'm glad I did it. Glad I'm here with the family. Whole family's here. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Check out the description for a full list of all my upcoming tour dates, including the reason that I'm here, which is my show at the Royal in Nelson, and that's on Monday. Nelson, BC, at the Royal. So if you're close to in town, why don't you come out and check it out? That'd be awesome. But yeah, full list of my tour dates is in the description, as well as links to where you can find my music where it's sold or streamed online. Subscribe to this channel if you're enjoying these videos, and ring that notification bell as well if you want to be notified every time I upload a new video, which will be tomorrow and every day for the foreseeable future. Like this video if you liked what you saw. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you again tomorrow.